I was running late that morning. I had promised my son Max that I'd drive him to the bus stop instead of making him walk. As I pulled up to the corner, my chest tightened. There he was, my 12-year-old, shoulders hunched, backpack clutched. To his chest, facing down, a middle-aged woman in a sharp pantsuit. She loomed over him, jabbing the air with a perfectly manicured finger only inches from his face. Even from 50 feet away, I could see the panic in his wide eyes. "I don't recognize you," the woman announced, her voice cutting across the quiet street. "This is a private neighborhood bus stop. Show me proof of residence right now, or I'll call security." Several parents and children were gathered nearby. They looked uneasy, but none of them intervened. I eased my unmarked police car to the curb, careful not to draw attention to the government plates. We had only moved into Oak Ridge Estates 3 weeks earlier, and I had made a point of keeping my position quiet. In a small town like Ridgemont, everyone treated the police chief differently. I just wanted Max to have a normal life, especially after losing his mom 2 years ago. The woman's voice sharpened as I stepped out of the car. "Do you understand what trespassing means, young man? I'm the HOA president, and it's my right to question suspicious individuals in our community." Max's response was barely a whisper. "I live here. My dad and I just moved to Maple Drive." The woman, Karen Whitfield, though I didn't know her name yet, scoffed. "That's exactly what someone who doesn't belong would say." "Maple Drive? Really? What house number? Who owned it before you? And why haven't I seen your parents at a meeting?" I walked toward them slowly, keeping my voice even, the way 2 decades in law enforcement had trained me. "Excuse me, is there a problem here?" She turned with a look of polished superiority. Late 40s, perfectly styled blonde bob, designer outfit that screamed manager complaint waiting to happen. A gold HOA president pin caught the sunlight. "I'm handling the matter," she said, dismissive, barely glancing at me. "This boy claims to live here, but I've never seen him. We've had problems with outsiders trying to use our amenities. I know every family who belongs." Relief washed over Max's face as he spotted me. "Dad!" Karen's eyes flicked between us as she recalibrated, though she didn't back down. "Oh, you're his father. Well, as I was saying, it's my responsibility to protect this neighborhood. Our rules are strict. Bus stop access is limited to residents only. I'll need to see your community ID." The other parents were watching now. Some looked uneasy. Others seemed resigned, as if they'd seen this act before. One mother even gave me an apologetic glance. "Ma'am," I said evenly, "my son and I moved into 478 Maple Drive 3 weeks ago, the Harrison house. We're registered residents, and Max belongs at this stop." She crossed her arms, her scarlet nails drumming against her handbag. "Community bylaws require new residents to check in with the HOA office before using facilities. The bus stop counts. I don't make the rules, I enforce them." Her smile was thin and cold. I rested a hand on Max's shoulder. "Go wait in the car for a minute, buddy. The bus will be here soon." Once he was safely inside, I turned back to her. This wasn't my first clash with the HOA. In only 3 weeks, I'd already received notices. Mailbox 2 inches too low, window trim the wrong shade of beige, recycling bin left out too long. "Miss Whitfield, is it?" I asked, though I already knew. She'd personally delivered the welcome packet and a list of alleged violations the day we moved in. "That's right," she said proudly. "Karen Whitfield, HOA president, 7 consecutive terms." "Then you should know this," I said, my tone still calm. "Questioning a minor without a parent present crosses boundaries, legal ones. My son was clearly upset by the way you confronted him." She waved me off. "I have full authority from the board to question anyone. It's about safety. We've had vandalism and the board voted for tighter security. If your son had proper ID, there'd be no problem." That was enough. Her smugness told me it was time to drop the polite neighbor routine. I slipped my badge from my jacket, holding it low so the children couldn't see, but high enough that Karen couldn't miss it. Chief Thomas Reynolds, I said quietly. Ridgemont Police Department. You just harassed my 12-year-old while he was waiting for his school bus. That isn't just against HOA policy, it could be considered intimidation of a minor under state law. The effect was immediate. The flush of authority drained from her face, leaving her pale. Her mouth opened and closed soundlessly, the confidence gone as quickly as it had come. Chief, I didn't realize. This is a misunderstanding, she stammered, her voice climbing higher than usual. I was only fulfilling my role as HOA president, making sure the neighborhood stayed safe. If I had known who you were— That's exactly the issue, Ms. Whitfield, I cut in, keeping my tone calm and measured. You shouldn't need to know I'm the police chief in order to show a child basic respect. Any child, regardless of their parent, deserves better than being interrogated and accused of trespassing on the way to school. The rumble of the approaching bus grew louder. I motioned for Max to come back to my side. Around us, Karen's. Earlier bravado crumbled as other parents, no longer pretending to look away, watched intently. I'll be filing a formal report about this, I said evenly. Not as a neighbor, but as a law enforcement officer concerned about the harassment of minors. I'd also like to see the HOA bylaw that supposedly gives you the authority to question children without their parents present. I suspect your board's legal counsel would have some strong opinions on that. One of the mothers, who had been silently standing off to the side, finally spoke up. She did the same to my daughter last month, accused her of sneaking in, a friend from outside the neighborhood, and threatened to fine us. We stayed quiet because Karen controls the violation committee. Another parent nodded in agreement. She banned my landscaping company from working here, said their truck sat in my driveway too long, cost me thousands to hire a replacement. Karen's complexion shifted from pale to crimson. Not from authority this time, but from embarrassment. This is absurd. I've given 8 years to protecting this community and safeguarding our property values. Without standards and enforcement, you have no idea what chaos would follow. The bus squealed to a stop. I hugged Max quickly. Have a good day, buddy. Don't worry about this. When the children had climbed aboard, I turned back to Karen, who clutched her designer handbag as though it could shield her. Ms. Whitfield, I expect you at the station this afternoon to provide a formal statement regarding your treatment of minors. 3 o'clock will do, and I'll be attending the next HOA meeting to introduce security policies that don't involve intimidating children. Her lips pressed into a thin, rigid line. You can't possibly think this warrants police involvement. I was only doing my job. Harassment isn't anyone's job, I answered firmly. And targeting children crosses a line that HOA rules don't cover. What you did this morning could be considered intimidation, harassment, and even impersonating a security officer. Those charges carry a fine of up to $5,000 and jail time. The color drained from her face. For the first time since I'd met her, she was silent. Around us, parents no longer hid their satisfaction. Karen's grip on the community had hurt far more families than mine. A week later, a neighborhood-wide email announced that Karen Whitfield had stepped down as HOA president and committee chair after mounting complaints. She was fined $2,000 for harassment and ordered to complete 40 hours of community service. The board also issued a public apology, especially to families with children, and promised a full review of all bylaws. The following morning, I watched Karen scurry from her Mercedes to her front door, refusing to meet anyone's eyes. I felt no triumph at her downfall, only relief. At last, the children in our neighborhood, including my son, could wait for the bus without fear.